This stuff is invaluable. Hay. I can put it on the garden, I can put it on the orchard, I can feed it to my animals in time of drought, and I can use it for bedding for my chickens and use that in lamb or the other animals that we're going to get down the track. But to do this, we need a tractor. So we hope to pick up a tractor the next couple of months so we can start haying our property, baling it up, and not having to outsource this because it's very expensive to buy. See that guy over here? He's got the biggest horns. That's our ram, except he was supposed to be a wether, which means that they were taking his boy bits away. Except when they tried to take his boy bits away, they only took one boy bit away. So now he's only half a ram. So tomorrow we're picking up a full ram. Roxy, back here. And he's a full-blood Dorper ram. Dorpers are self-shedding, and these guys are self-shedding. They're supposed to be Dorper, and some are Dorper cross Wiltshire. Roxy, back here. Roxy. Roxy. Roxy, get back here. These guys are supposed to be Dorpers or Dorper cross Wiltshire. So they're both a self-shedding breed, and so the Dorper ram will go beautifully with these guys. It means we don't need to shear them or do minimal shearing on the guys that don't fully shed. As you can see, some of them have a little bit of wool left on their back, so sometimes you need to trim that up. It's not detrimental. They're not going to get live-bone like wool-producing sheep. We also want to get a couple of calves so we can raise them meat. We would only need one for our freezer, and that will last us a year. But we wouldn't mind getting the guy that's a just on our farm, getting him off our land, and then growing or fattening up our own calves so we can sell them at market. And that would be another income stream that we can get off the land. You're okay. These guys are dairy cows, so they're a little bit more friendly than those meat cows in the other video. They were scary. These guys aren't so scary. Although this one, his name's Shanks. Another thing we want is some form of milking animal, whether it's a cow, and then we could have their calves and have their calves for the freezer, or a milking goat. So we're not sure if it's going to be the goat or the cow. I'd prefer a cow, but I am a little bit lactose intolerant, so I think I would tolerate the goat's milk better. But everyone else enjoys dairy or cow milk much better than goat's milk. I do love goat's cheese, so even if I get a dairy goat just to make goat's cheese, and then these guys and the rest of the family to have milk, yogurt and cheese. And Roxy's saying hello to this one. Shanks is my favourite. Look how pretty he is. Hello. You won't say hello to me, but you say hello to Roxy. Hey, can I say hello to you? Yes, I'll say hello to you. These down here are our chestnut trees. We also have a small orchard that's next door. The orchard isn't really producing much, but we're trying to rectify the soil and amend the soil. But we want to extend the orchard because we eat a lot of fruit, and to buy organic fruit is really expensive. So before spring, I'd like to plant some stone fruit trees, some more olives, some more figs, some pomegranates. I'm going to wait and see what sort of apples, pears and quinces we have. But hopefully in 5 years we can harvest some of our fruit and not have to rely on the shops. Gum trees. We want to plant some red gums and some other quick growing hardwood. We go through a lot of wood, about 30 tonne a year. especially with the 2 houses that we have. So we want to be able to not only forage from the forest over there during season, but we want to be able to grow our own wood and continually replace the trees that we harvest. So while we're here, hopefully until we die, we have a continual supply of wood. Because trees don't last forever, they don't plant themselves, especially if we're continually foraging them. We have got a little bit of dead wood on the property, and the older trees will continue to drop and to fall, and we'll continue to harvest that. But we want to make sure that in 20 and 30 years, that when we're here or when our kids are here, that we have a continual wood supply so we can stay warm, off-grid and self-sufficient. A lot of people have asked me why I'm not going to eat these guys, considering I'm so scared of them. We got these guys on the proviso that they stay pets, because they were pets beforehand. They were loved, and she wanted them to go, hey, you're naughty. She wanted them to go to another home where they could be loved. Don't necessarily love Rosie. She bites me and she scares me. Millie I don't mind. Millie's quite friendly, not aggressive. But Rosie, I was warned that she's quite cheeky and naughty. So these guys will be pets. They will be out in my veggie patch tilling it up. But we do want to get some porkers because I like bacon. Bacon's probably the only bit of pork that I'll eat and enjoy. Pork. The rest of the family adore pork, and they really, really want to produce their own pork. So we will get some piglets that we can raise up to be food, but these guys will stay pets. We eat a lot of veggies. So this veggie patch here isn't quite big enough to feed our family. It's a great patch because it's close to the house and I can come out here and harvest what we would use daily. But things like pumpkin and melons and corn that are a one-off harvest and don't need much care and maintenance. I want to make a bigger veggie patch for those things and further away from the house. Not necessarily because I don't want it close to the house, but because we don't have anywhere to put it. So yeah, so I want to make a veggie patch that's about 1/4 to 1/2 acre in size, and maybe look at expanding that the year after. But I just want something that I can manage for now. I don't want to take on too much, and I know I am taking on too much, but I don't want to take on excess. And I know that I couldn't maintain an acre, but I could probably maintain 1/4 to 1/2 acre. Whoopsies! We want to get a few more breeds of chickens. Israel wants to breed pure heritage chickens. We're also going to be breeding leghorn chickens. He wants to set up a little business where he can breed chooks and take them to the local auctions. There are 2 local auctions that are held monthly or bi-monthly in our area. It's just a great learning resource for him, learning how to make money, learning about maths, social skills, all those sorts of things that he can take on to his adulthood years. They're not only going to be providing him an income, but they're going to be providing us eggs. So we're hoping to get a few more breeds. I'm thinking light Sussex, they're one of my favourite chooks. They're a heavy breed and a dual purpose. We won't be using them for meat, but they do lay great eggs, and they are great sitters and great mothers. We're also looking at getting meat birds this month. We're getting a broiler chicken, which I believe is like a Cornish cross. We're getting 50 of those, and we're getting 50 because even though we have lambs and we're getting pigs and we want to get cows, it's going to be quite some time before they fill our freezer. The lambs will take about 6 to 9 months before they're freezer ready, but the broilers can be ready in about 6 to 8 weeks. So that means we can be self-sufficient in most of our meat, or some of our meat, even if we're just eating chicken for a few months, before we can add the lamb to that. And then next year we will continue to buy meat chickens when we're getting close to being run out. And next year when we've got beef and lamb and pork in our freezer, we can also add chicken too, but in a smaller quantity. This is my orchard. And in here, we want to get some ducks to keep the slugs and snails down and keep down the pests. They can get into dams, so we're quite far away from our dams up here. I'm hoping they won't wander down, especially if we give them access to some water. But in here, I'd love to have my ducks. And I can bring them in here. We've got a few extra chicken coops, so I can bring them in here if I'm finding we're having issues with foxes. But I'm hoping I can just have like a mobile coop in here and keep the ducks purely in here. And that way we can have eggs, meat if we wish, but I probably wouldn't be keeping them for their meat purposes, mainly for their pest control and the cute factor. Another bird I want to get is guinea fowl. Guinea fowl are fantastic for keeping the tick population down. We do have a few ticks here in Victoria. I believe we don't have paralysis tick, or if we do, it doesn't really cause paralysis, but I don't really want to find out, to tell you the truth. For our dog, for ourselves, for our animals, if we can have guinea fowl to keep the population down, that would be amazing. We wouldn't be eating them, we wouldn't be eating their eggs. Maybe we could breed them and Israel can sell the chicks as well, or the keats I think they're called. But they will be able to free range the property. We wouldn't need to lock them up because they roost in trees, so they'll be safe from predators like foxes. And they would, be beneficial to us by keeping the tick population down. One of the things I'm most excited about getting is bees. We don't use refined sugar. We cut out cane sugar about 9 months ago now, but we've been using alternatives. We use things like coconut sugar, maple syrup, and honey. I love honey and I prefer to use honey because it's the oldest form of sugar, but it's very expensive and sometimes it's hard to source a good quality honey. One that hasn't been heat treated or processed, and one that you know where they're foraged. If we have bees here, I know that they're probably going to stay on our 50 acres. I know that we don't spray. It's not going to affect them, the hive, or the honey. So I want to get 2 hives, enough to keep us in honey all year round. So we can use it on things like natural yogurt, in baking when I do bake, or just by itself when we're not feeling well. I'm really excited about getting bees, not only for the honey, but because of the pollination. We've got quite a few fruit trees, we've got 30 chestnut trees, and bees will be able to aid in the pollination. Not just the fruit trees, but the veggies as well. We have 7 dams and 2 creeks that flow in to feed the dams. I would love to stock them with trout, but what I think we would rather do is create an aquaponic system, because I know we will be able to catch the trout and we'll be able to grow things like lettuce and strawberries in them with it, and they'll be able to feed off the nutrients from the fish. We may do both. We may have an aquaponic system and stock the dams. We're just not sure if we stock the dams, if things like the platypus, the ducks, the eels, or other native birds will just eat the baby fish and we won't be left with anything. So we think that having something like an aquaponic system will be a surefire way to have a harvest at the end of the period. We all love fish, but we don't like buying commercial fish, especially ones that have been fish farms that have been fed artificial. They put colouring and all sorts of stuff in that food, a whole lot of antibiotics. Yes, farm-reared salmon isn't naturally pink. It's actually a dye they put in the food. So do your research before you buy it and before you buy fish from the supermarket. So if we can have an aquaponic system, means that we won't have any artificial nasties in our food, and we get to enjoy things like smoked trout, which we all adore. One of the best things for my gardens is worms. Worm castings, worm tea, just worms in the garden breaking down the mulch. So we're going to start a worm farm. I may start in a regular worm farm factory. I've failed many times at those before. But when we have time, I'd love to upgrade it to a bathtub style worm farm. So they have more space to breed, a bigger capacity to break down our compost, a bigger capacity to harvest castings and to make tea from. That way I can even feed the worms to my chickens and my pigs, or just spread them through my garden so that they can do their work right at the source. In Western Gippsland we have a huge number of hawks and eagles, and they're our number one predator for these guys. They will come out during the day and take chickens or chicks. So I want to get a guard goose so they can alert our flock to any overhead predators, and that our flock will have a chance to seek shelter and refuge and not be taken. At night we lock them up, so that eliminates most of our fox problem. Sometimes foxes are cunning and come out during the day, but most of the time they're a night animal. So we're hoping a guard goose can protect these guys among some of the trees that we have here, and maybe a couple more shelters that we can erect for them. Another thing I want to get is a herd alpaca. They are a great protector against foxes. So when you get one, they can join with your flock, and they can become very protective because they think that the flock are their own family. So it'll protect these guys against foxes, and I don't have to worry about these guys giving birth at night and me not being there and not finding the lambs and the fox finding it first, because the alpaca will keep the foxes at bay. It's not 100%, but it's better than what we have now, which is nothing. I go out and do daily lamb checks, sometimes twice or 3 times daily, and that way I can take mama and the lambs down to a pen and keep them locked inside to protect them from the foxes and overhead predators. At night I'm not checking. I'll check before I go to bed, but I'm not going to be checking during the night unless I know or hear that something's up. But I probably wouldn't be able to hear it from where the sheep sleep to where my bedroom is. You still get things like crows and hawks and eagles, which can pick out the babies and the mum's eyes during and just after childbirth or lamb birth. It won't stop that. It might eliminate it a little bit, but it probably won't stop that. I just hope to get there before the crows and the eagles do. By putting them inside, I can stop that happening during the first week until the lamb's strong enough to run away. They wouldn't be picking out their eyes during that first week. That's only a newborn thing, but they can take baby lambs. It has been seen in the area before. It has been seen on this farm before by the previous owners. So if we can eliminate as much of the predators as possible, we can have a better stock survival rate. It's better for not only us to be able to consume them, but we'll be able to sell them and make a profit to be able to continue to stock our farm and feed them the best possible feed that we can. So what do you guys think we should add to our small farm? Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything you think is really valuable that would either add financial benefit